The roar of an audience is a force unlike any other. It rises, swells, and crashes over a performer like a living wave, carrying both energy and expectation. For decades, Elton John lived inside that roar, feeling its power and its pull. Stadiums, concert halls, and arenas became his second home, where the adoration of millions could lift him up, even as it sometimes reminded him of the distance between the public stage and the private self. Sequined suits, oversized glasses, glittering pianos. They were not just props, but extensions of his larger-than-life presence. To the outside world, every show was a celebration of joy, artistry, and music that could move the heart and stir the soul. But beyond the applause and lights, there was another story. Quieter, more complex, and deeply human. Behind the legend of Elton John, there is a man who has navigated decades of challenges, triumphs, and personal growth. A man who carries both the weight and the beauty of a life fully lived. From Pinner to stardom, it is easy to see Elton John's career as a kind of fairy tale. A boy named Reginald Kenneth Dwight, from the quiet streets of Pinner, Middlesex, transforming himself into one of the most celebrated and flamboyant performers in the history of music. He sold hundreds of millions of records, toured every corner of the globe, won awards that many only dream of, and became a cultural touchstone whose music shaped generations. Yet this story of triumph is also a story of resilience, persistence, and the search for belonging. Each success was built on layers of personal struggle, a childhood that left deep impressions, and a constant need to be seen, heard, and recognized. Every glittering stage and standing ovation hid the echoes of a boy who once sat alone at a piano, seeking refuge in the world of melody and harmony. Childhood shadows. Before the stage, the sequins, and the applause, there was Reginald Dwight, a quiet, introspective child growing up in a modest home just outside London. His father, Stanley Dwight, was a disciplined man devoted to his duties in the Royal Air Force, and though he provided structure, warmth, and encouragement were often absent, his mother, Sheila, offered a more uneven form of affection, alternating between moments of tenderness and periods of unpredictability. Love at home was conditional, and young Reginald quickly learned that praise was rare. In this environment, the piano became his sanctuary. Each key pressed, each melody played, was an escape, a way to craft a world where he could feel seen and understood. Music became both companion and protector, a language in which he could express feelings that words could not capture. Early talent and isolation. Reginald displayed remarkable musical ability from a very young age. By 3, he could pick out tunes by ear, and by 11, he had earned a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Music. While such achievements might have been a source of joy, for him they also underscored the sense of isolation that had followed him from his childhood. Surrounded by peers and mentors who recognized his talent, he still felt apart from them. Haunted by the voices of parental expectations and criticism, music remained both a shield and a mirror, reflecting his genius while also highlighting his insecurities. In this way, every note he played carried both promise and vulnerability, hinting at the complex interplay of confidence and doubt that would continue to shape his life. Building a persona. The experiences of childhood, the feelings of being overlooked, misunderstood, and underestimated, would later inform the persona of Elton John. The flamboyant costumes, dramatic spectacles, and larger-than-life performances were not mere artistic choices. They were armor, designed to ensure he would never again be invisible. Adopting the name Elton John, inspired by a saxophonist he admired and a friend named Long John Baldry, symbolized the transformation of shy, introspective Reginald into a confident, dazzling artist. Yet beneath the glittering exterior remained the boy who longed for love without conditions, who had learned early that recognition was earned rather than freely given. This duality, extravagance hiding vulnerability, became a defining aspect of both his art and his identity. Finding a musical voice. The late 1960s were a time of musical experimentation and revolution in Britain, and Elton found himself at the heart of it. As a teenager, he joined a band called Bluesology, performing in small clubs and pubs, often to indifferent crowds. These performances were more than practice. They were acts of self-assertion, a way of staking a claim in a world that had often overlooked him. Each gig, each melody played, became a small victory, a step toward defining the person he was meant to be. Even as his talent became evident, self-doubt remained a constant companion, reminding him that belonging was never guaranteed, even for someone who could command attention with a single note. The partnership that defined a career. During this period, Elton met Bernie Taupin, a lyricist whose words would become the perfect complement to his melodies. Their creative partnership was nearly magical, a meeting of minds that transformed music and hearts alike. Bernie's lyrics gave voice to feelings Elton had long struggled to express, while Elton's compositions brought those words vividly to life. Together, they produced timeless classics, songs that combined personal reflection with universal appeal. Tracks like Your Song and Tiny Dancer were more than commercial hits. They were intimate revelations, articulations of a young man learning to understand himself and the world around him. Through their collaboration, Elton found a musical language that could express both joy and pain, hope and longing. The rise of a superstar. By the early 1970s, Elton John was a household name. Albums like Honky Chateau and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road catapulted him to global superstardom, and his concerts became legendary spectacles of music, color, and performance. He sold out Madison Square Garden, toured relentlessly, and developed a reputation for showmanship that seemed limitless. Yet the very fame that brought freedom also introduced pressure. The expectations of audiences, managers, and media created a constant demand for more, while the private Reginald, the boy who had once sought love and approval, continued to feel unseen at times. Fame magnified not just triumphs, but insecurities, leaving the performer to navigate the tension between public adoration and private longing. Struggles behind the spotlight. Despite his outward success, Elton faced personal challenges. The pressures of fame, combined with the need for self-expression, sometimes led to behaviors aimed at coping with stress and anxiety. Though the public saw only brilliance and flamboyance, behind the scenes there were quiet struggles, moments of self-doubt, the effort to manage intense schedules, and the ongoing work of maintaining personal well-being. These experiences shaped him, teaching resilience, patience, and self-awareness. In learning to navigate fame and its demands, Elton discovered ways to preserve both his creativity and his humanity. The mask and the man Elton's stage persona, the costumes, the glasses, the dramatic flair, served as both expression and protection. They allowed him to be admired and celebrated while simultaneously concealing vulnerabilities that were deeply personal. This duality was central to his identity. Elton John, the performer, was confident, daring, and vibrant, while Reginald Dwight, the man, continued to process a lifelong search for belonging and self-acceptance. The interplay between these two selves became a defining narrative, showing that even the most dazzling public figures often carry inner complexities unseen by the world. The cost of fame brought freedom and influence, but it also carried a cost. Tours, recordings, and constant public expectation created a relentless cycle of demand, requiring extraordinary energy and emotional resilience. Each performance, while thrilling for audiences, was also a reminder of the long journey from a shy, uncertain boy to a global icon. At 78, Elton can reflect on the life he has led, the music, the awards, and the countless stages, but he also recognizes the sacrifices involved. Success did not erase loneliness, nor did achievement fully heal the scars of early life. The lessons of childhood, of striving for recognition and connection, remained a quiet but persistent presence. Personal life and fulfillment. Despite early struggles, Elton found love and stability later in life, particularly with his husband, David Furnish. Their partnership brought emotional grounding, joy, and shared purpose. Alongside family, Elton devoted himself to philanthropy, supporting causes close to his heart and using his platform to make a positive impact. These personal and philanthropic pursuits provided balance and meaning, complementing the intensity of his artistic career. While the pressures of fame never entirely disappeared, love, family, and purpose offered a steadying force that helped him navigate the complexities of life and artistry. The human behind the legend audiences often see only the brilliance of Elton John as a performer, the music, the stage presence, the charisma. What they do not always see is the humanity behind it, the doubts, the perseverance, the private moments of struggle, and the tireless dedication required to maintain decades of excellence. His story is one of both talent and resilience, a life lived fully with all its triumphs and challenges. Elton's journey demonstrates that greatness is not simply measured by recognition or applause, but also by the courage to face life's trials, the commitment to craft, and the ability to transform personal experience into art that resonates with millions. Triumphs intertwined with challenges. Every success in Elton's life, from sold-out arenas to Grammy wins, is intertwined with personal growth and challenge. Health concerns, demanding schedules, and the emotional weight of fame are reminders that even extraordinary talent must navigate the vulnerabilities of being human. Recognizing these aspects adds depth to our appreciation, showing that every song and performance is not only a display of skill, but a testament to determination, endurance, and the courage to continue expressing oneself despite adversity. Music as lifeline. From his earliest days at the piano to stadiums filled with thousands, music has been Elton's constant companion. It is both calling and salvation, a way to communicate when words are insufficient. His melodies and lyrics carry the weight of lived experience, joy, longing, resilience, and vulnerability. Through music, he connects the shy, searching boy with the confident, world-renowned performer, creating a bridge that spans decades of personal and artistic growth. Every song is an affirmation of survival, expression, and connection, a reminder that music can speak the truths of the human heart. Legacy and reflection. Elton John's story reminds us that genius is rarely simple. The spectacle, awards, and public recognition are only one layer of a complex narrative. Beneath the glitter lies resilience, creativity, and a journey towards self-acceptance. At 78, Elton can reflect on a life filled with accomplishments, love, and artistic influence, but he also acknowledges the journey, the challenges overcome, the lessons learned, and the constant interplay between vulnerability and brilliance. His story is both inspiration and testament, showing that adversity can be transformed into beauty, and that courage, creativity, and perseverance can create a life of profound impact. Conclusion: triumph and humanity. The life of Elton John is a tapestry of triumphs and trials, each thread inseparably woven with the other. The applause may be thunderous, the spectacles dazzling, but the deeper story is of a boy from Pinner who discovered that music could express what words could not, and that resilience, creativity, and courage could transform longing into melody. Elton John, the icon, embodies both the brilliance of artistic success and the enduring humanity that allows a life, in all its complexity, to resonate with others. His journey reminds us that behind every legend is a person navigating the same struggles, seeking love, meaning, and fulfillment, a reminder that art is not only a product of talent, but a testament to the human spirit.